Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Mosaic Madness. I realized when I was ending up the edit for this video, I never talked you through the official theme of Mosaic Madness. So we're going to do that real quick here at the beginning of this video. So the theme for this collection is going to be Ethereal Earth. I was so excited when I stumbled upon a few inspo images off Pinterest, and it just felt like such a magical, cool collection, a way for me to put in more color into my pieces, still implement the wood, but have a very soft and romantic vibe. The ethereal side of the bracket is going to be introducing many different colors, have a very soft feel to it, while the earth side is going to be very neutral and earth toned, and the combination of the two I think is going to look really, really cool. So here are some inspo pics. So along with these inspo pics, I just really was looking at coloration and just kind of the overall shapes of things that I was using in these pieces. So when I'm thinking soft, I'm thinking more rounded edges instead of sharp lines, really dainty flowers with soft golds and some metals. But then also thinking ethereal, I kind of want it to be a little bit spacey. I love all things with a mystical, moon vibe. So bringing in some elements of maybe mysticism or the sky or the stars is going to be all a part of this collection. So I just wanted to run through that before we get jumped into the actual video. But thank you guys so much for tuning into episode 2. If you missed episode 1, I'll link it here in a card. So make sure you start the series at the beginning so you know what we're working on, and let's jump into it. So yesterday we didn't really do any building. Consisted of me getting backers set and ready. Still kind of prepping, but today we gotta get building, so we are definitely doing that today. So I think I'm gonna start with a round I have cut out, and this was one of the drawings I had done before. If you can see that there, so still has a very cool portal feel to it. So I think I want to pull some of the cool purple heart and cedar that I got in our box of wood I showed you in the last video. We got to cut some of that down. I do need to cut down some walnut as well. So I think we're just going to jump into table saw first. Then we'll probably go live once the table saw stuff is done. That's just really loud. And then once we're building, we'll go live and show everyone. So let's do it. So like I said in my last video, I was so excited to experiment and get all these different woods to try out. So cutting down some cedar and purple heart, and this cedar, one, it smells great, but it was so dreamy. It has such a cool wave pattern like you can see here, but I'm so excited to put these into some pieces. I feel like it's gonna fit perfectly with the theme, and just adding these colors is just so different from any of my other work. So I'm excited just to see how it turns out and how they feel to work with, honestly. I did end up going live and building the inside of this piece on YouTube. So if you do subscribe, make sure you check out my lives if you ever catch them. And I would love to know your feedback and how I can make them better, since this is something new I'm trying out. All right, checking in for where we're at in the build. So I started the inside of the round. I did go live on YouTube. I would love to honestly go live as much as I can throughout these builds. One, to truly give a lot of real time behind the scenes, because these are not built quickly at all, but I think it's just a cool way to show even more of the process. I know these videos are such a big hit. So like I said earlier, currently working on this piece. So right now we have the center and kind of the outside X, I will say, and the outer triangle. So I've explained this before, but building from the inside out is one of my favorite ways to do this, but you kind of got to attach as you go, because pieces start to move and shift and all that good stuff. But you guys can see here what we got. I do need to get the MDF painted, so I'm going to get it primed and ready for paint. I did oil up the cedar as well, just because I wanted to see what it would look like, and it's starting to dry now, which is fine. All right, let's do this like a true woodworking guru. So it dries not as a bright purpley pink like here with the raw, but it has such a really pretty, almost burgundy color, and I am okay with that. So I think I'm gonna choose to oil this up. I wasn't sure if I was gonna use my normal dead flat or oil it, but I think we're gonna go with the oiling piece. Also, I freaking, not to flip you off, but I broke a nail and it was bleeding earlier. So I try to look cute for you guys, but never works. Never works. So currently finishing up some things for some stores that I can take this week to get some spring items in the stores. And this is the juggle and the balance of just trying to get everything done, which I never feel like I do a good job at, to be honest. But we have some mosaics in progress. When I say some, I mean like 3 or 4. So I would really like to get in a good spot with those ones. We have a scroll piece we need to cut out and scroll. We have this piece, which was one of the first ones I finished the painting for, got it framed. So now I need to work on just cutting the pieces for the outline. And then we also need to work on the cedar piece. I am currently cutting some things on my laser for stores as well, but let me show you the piece I finished this morning painting wise. I would also like to get that on a backer today so we can start working on that one tomorrow once it's glued and set. So here is the painting. So very blue, very bright, something again very, very different, but it feels whimsical, it feels very fun. So, oh, and I'm holding it upside down. It's gonna go this way. Actually, I might like it the other way better. No, I like it this way. But very blue, very fun. I don't think I took any like horizontal video. I took some vertical video for social media painting this. No clue what the mosaic's gonna look like, but I really, really like the painting. So that's fun. So again, with the ethereal earth, it's gonna just be like whimsy, bright and light colors on one side and very muted, very earth tones on the other. We have a lot of moving pieces, but I really feel like I just need to hunker down and get some of these finished so that I can say that they're done. And nothing like added pressure. We did add another vacation to our list. So we had been teetering, going back and forth of whether we wanted to go to Florida in March to visit my parents again. And my boyfriend has never been to Florida, so we're gonna do that. So I need to get all of these done before we leave, which again, nothing like adding added pressure, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be time for us to take a break right before this big launch, but that means we have to work really, really hard before vacation starts. So let's jump into it. Let's get dirty. Let's get some of these signs finished. Like I said, when building a wood mosaic from the inside out, it really is a tedious process because each piece truly relies on what comes before it. So you really can't move on until you have all the pieces, painted and secured to continue through the piece. So this one did take me quite a while to finish, especially with this intricate middle, because I have all these tiny pieces, and not only am I then like squaring them off, I have to fit pieces inside of those pieces, which, like I said, has to be really detailed, and the cuts have to be really, really accurate. So I think it makes it that much cooler when you guys can see what truly goes into the building of the piece. But this one was not easy, to say the least. But I am loving the purple. I'm loving the cedar. And I know I said I was going to oil them up, which for these pieces I did. But later on, I do change my mind and go back to the dead flat, which is linked in my Amazon store. If you're doing any building, it's a wonderful matte coat and highly, highly recommend. And now I'm sanding all the tiny little pieces that are gonna not only go in the round, but also the pieces that are gonna go on this mosaic. So this is just a real-time look at how long sanding really does take me. Every single piece gets sanded by hand, and this is probably like 2 minutes on this one little piece. So just to give you a reference of how long it truly does take to build all of these. And nothing is as satisfying as having to hammer a really tight piece into the work, but I'm creating some destruction on the way. Hello, we are down in the shop for the day, and I'll be honest, friends, the last couple days I have been feeling absolutely awful. I've been waking up at like 2 a.m. for God knows what reason. I don't know. But it's been crazy. And not only have I been waking up and not sleeping, I have this weird like hand rash. I don't know if you could see there, but like there's like little blisters all over my hand. I looked it up. It's like some type of eczema that can either be from stress, which might be why I'm not sleeping, or it can be an allergen, which I'm playing with a lot of chemicals, a lot of new woods. And maybe I'm allergic to something and I don't know. We have so many projects in progress right now as we're ending this week and this episode of Mosaic Madness. And I really just want to get to a point where projects feel like they're almost finished. So going into next week, which is actually the last week of a building, we have plenty of time to just get done what we need to get done. I'm feeling stressed, which might be the hand rash. I'm feeling stressed of just getting done enough things. I know I mentioned in the first episode we did 16 pieces last year. I don't even know if we're going to get to that this year. What I'm thinking it might be is like 12 bigger pieces and then some mini pieces, maybe like 6 mini pieces, and I'm gonna call those like Mosaic minis. Still gonna be art, still gonna be within the theme, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I'm not 100% sure. I like to give myself some space to just kind of like let things flow, but also at the same time, because there is a deadline, we need some kind of plan to like get all of this done. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're scrolling today, we're building today, we're finishing up things for stores today on the laser, which I don't have running yet, but will be here very, very soon. Hi, Sully. Sully wanted to make an appearance. Have anything to say? No? Okay. Anyway, so I worked out this morning. Even though I've been feeling tired and like crap, got my workout in. I'm feeling a lot better now. It just gave me a nice boost of energy. So we are just going to jump in and get started for the day. I can't believe we have a week left of building. Oh my gosh. All right, let's do it, friends. So little mosaic update. So I have a lot of the pieces cut already. What's taking me a while is because I have to build it from like the inside out. So this is all attached. These are not, but I do need to go in and paint the MDF pieces. So it's almost like a deassembling and reassembling at the same time, but I'm going to go ahead and sand and paint these and try and keep the wood pieces in each quadrant. And I'm numbering each quadrant so that I know which pieces go with what, because it's kind of chaotic when I don't do that. So now that all the pieces are basically there, we are gonna just go ahead and start deassembling, attach what we have, and then just see what we need to fill in. I know I need to cut something for like these spots and maybe just something tiny for like the corners of each quadrant. But other than that, we have almost everything cut, which is great. That means this is almost done, and it's taken forever. So this is gonna be definitely a more expensive piece in the collection, probably like mid to higher range, just because there's so many pieces going on with this. So like I mentioned, I did end up switching to going with dead flat with the cedar pieces, and I always use this on all of my white oak as well. It just leaves a matte finish, keeps it really natural to the natural color of the wood. But again, the cedar is so freaking dreamy. I'm so excited for it. Oiled up everything, need to get everything painted, but this is some of the most relaxing times in the shop where I can just throw on a YouTube video and sit down and get everything coated the way I need to before reassembling And then once I got all the MDF sanded and painted, really this was ready to assemble and go. So this is just the part where the quadrants really do come in handy, because yes, it is a circle. So like getting everything perfectly center was really, really hard. So some of these pieces might only go with the quadrant that it's in, and you know, hey, that is what it is. Makes it perfectly imperfect made by hand. The next piece I'm working on, I am using my laser, which I'm excited about. So we're cutting some 1/4 inch MDF to cut the inner round that I drew on my iPad. And this is going to be another round piece. Again, I'm focusing on that really soft round shape for a lot of pieces here. But that's going to leave you for a little cliffhanger to watch episode 3, because we'll get to shaping and assembling this one in the next episode. Thank you guys for hanging out till the end of episode 2 for the Mosaic Madness collection. And next episode is going to be finishing pieces and starting voting, which is so crazy. If that video is already available, it will be linked here. And if not, make sure you turn on your notifications so you get notified when that video is up and available. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time in the wood shop. Bye! I got dust everywhere.